Hey everyone, this is Gren. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do my 3D circle strokes. Here's a couple of examples. I've used them in multiple edits. Pretty cool element to add into your edits in the background. You can surround a cube with it, surround a subject, whatever you want to do. It's going to be a pretty easy tutorial. There's only one thing you're going to need, and it's this. Start a new composition and press Ctrl K or go to composition settings. Click 3D renderer right here and make sure you have either Cinema 4D or Ray Trace 3D. I have Ray Trace 3D because I have a ray tracing graphics card. If you have at least Cinema 4D, this tutorial will work for you. So press OK, create a new shape layer and add a circle. From here, go to the ellipse, fill, press delete on your keyboard, and on the stroke width, change that to 50. Then you can enable 3D, go to geometry options, and on the extrusion depth, change that to 50 as well. Now we're going to change the view to the left, and you can see the anchor point is in the front of the face. All I'm going to do is open the anchor point setting underneath the shape layer and change the Z anchor point, which is this one. I'm going to change that to half of whatever your extrusion depth is. So in my case, it's 50. I'm going to change it to 25. I'm going to make a rotation with this real quick. Go to 1 second, negative 180. So now we have this circle doing this rotation here. With the Ray Trace 3D, you can enable motion blur. So that way it'll look smooth. You see there is motion blur enabled on this. If we had it on the Cinema 4D, it just wouldn't have any motion blur. That's really the only difference here. So now what you can do is add a color to your face. So in the contents, I'm going to add a new group, and then I'm going to drag the ellipse into that group. With the group selected, I'm going to click add front color, and then I'm going to change this to whatever color we want. In my case, I'm going to want a pink. Now we have this shape with a front face of a different color doing some kind of motion, right? You can tie this to a null, do whatever you want with this, put a cube in the middle. So now what we're going to do is go to the ellipse and then go to the stroke. And in this, you have this dashes option. Press the plus, and then you're going to get a bunch of blocks. It's just basically adding a bunch of dashes. What you can do is, on the dash percentage over here, it says 10. If you up that, you can then minimize this to only having 4. I'm going to say about 250 does it for me. So let's keep it at this angle right here. Now we can do a rotation on the Z-axis to show you it spinning. And again, this is a completely 3D layer, so you can still move this around and put it wherever you want in your composition, or tie it to a null, or do anything with it. Now what we can do is add a reflection to this, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So you can bring in any picture you want. I like using a picture like this one to have a reflective surface on there. It's just like a weird looking liquid. You can make this any color you want. I'm going to keep it black and white. Let's make this an environment layer by right clicking on the layer and clicking environment layer. You're only going to have that option there if you have the Cinema 4D or the Ray Trace 3D render option enabled. The only difference is with the Ray Trace 3D option, once you make it an environment layer, you're going to have to go into the options and appears in reflections, turn that to only. Now you have to leave that layer there because it exists as the environment layer for the shape that you made. Go to the shape layer, go to the material options. You can leave most of these settings how they are. Under the reflection intensity, I'm going to change that to 100%. That way it's reflecting 100% of the environment layer. And then under the reflection sharpness, I'm going to change that to either 75 or 50%, depending on what the look you want is. I like to put it to 50% because it makes it like a really gritty reflection, but you can still tell what's going on. And then underneath the geometry options, I'm going to go back there, and then I'm going to show you what the bevel does to this. So the angular bevel adds an angle to the edges between the face and the side. And you can change the percentage of that by upping the bevel depth over here. So from 2 to 5%. See, it makes a more defined edge over here between the sides and the face, and it does that all around the shape, no matter what shape it is. Or you could change it to concave, and this is like a stair step. It'll end up looking kind of like a stair step. Or you can make it convex. This one's the ugliest one of them all. I don't think I've ever really used this one. Don't really know what shape it's making in between the sides and the face, but if that's the look you're going for, there you go. What you can also do is under the contents and the group, while you have group selected, click add. You can actually change the color of the sides or the bevel, not only the face, but you can also do the bevel color over here and change that to, let's say, white. Or actually, let's change that to like blue or something like this, right? This is a pretty cool way of editing 3D text if you need to add a bunch of color to whatever you're making. I don't really ever use it in this way. I kind of just like to leave it how I had it before, but if you need this option in any way, it is there for you. What you can also do is change the reflective properties of the sides or the face or the bevel or whatever. So if you only need the face of this to be reflective, or only the sides of this to be reflective, let me show you how to do that. So click the group, add, and then do a front and then I'm going to change the reflection intensity. So now we can have that set to 0, or you can have it set to whatever you want. Now you only have sides of the shape reflecting. Meanwhile, the faces are still whatever color you set them to without any reflection. And you can do the same thing for the reflective sharpness as well. Let's say you do want the reflection intensity to stay there, but you want the faces to be sharper. So you can do front reflection sharpness. Sorry, select the group front reflection sharpness. And again, you can change it to 100%. You can change that to 0%, whatever you want. And it'll only affect whatever face you want it to affect. So there you go, guys. This is how you do my 3D circular stroke. Again, you're not only limited to a circle. You could do a square. You could do this with text. Everything that I've done here applies to text as well. Making a text layer 3D is basically making a shape layer into 3D. You have all the same options: reflection, sharpness, changing the sides color, or changing the face color, or changing the bevel color, whatever you want. You still do this with text as well. So there you go. I hope to see this in your guys' edits, and make sure to tag me in them. Thank you so much.